Okay, we are on page 49, and page 49, most of the top of the page is just some instruction. And the two things that we're going to talk about on this page are Venn diagrams, and that's this kind of funny looking diagram that's got circles inside of ovals instead of ovals inside of ovals. And then we're going to talk about rational numbers. So do a little bit of reading, and then I'll show you, to the best of my ability, how to understand this. A Venn diagram is a visual representation used to show the relationships between groups. The Venn diagram shows how rational numbers, integers, and whole numbers are related. And I want to point something out to you, and I'll do this multiple times. Look off to the right. It says rational numbers include integers and whole numbers. And so what we do here is we have this big oval called rational numbers, but then inside of that is a subset called integers, and inside that subset of integers is a subset called whole numbers. So let's check it out how it gets used here. Let's go to the example. And let's pretend that, on the example, in fact, I'm going to move up a little bit. Let's pretend here that we didn't know where these numbers were. I'm going to actually go ahead and put some blue on. I'm going to smudge these out. And let's pretend we didn't know where those numbers were. Let's go read these directions down here at the bottom. Well, the directions are here at the top. It says, place each number in the Venn diagram. Then classify each number by indicating in which set or sets each number belongs. So question A is 75. So where would 75 go? Would 75 go in the set of rational numbers? Well, it could, so I could write 75 right here. But that's actually not really the right spot because 75 is more than a rational number. It's also an integer. By definition, an integer is a positive or negative whole number, or it could even be 0. By definition, actually 75 goes all the way into the inside. 75 is a whole number. But we don't just call it a whole number. 75 is a whole number. Let's go ahead and read the sentence. The number 75 belongs in the set of whole numbers. It's also an integer. It's also a rational number. It's all those things. Okay, what about the next number, negative 3? Is negative 3 a whole number? Nope, negative 3 does not belong in the center circle because whole numbers are positive. Is negative 3 an integer? It is. Integers are negative or positive whole numbers. So negative 3 goes right there. The sentence says it's an integer. It's also a rational number. Now, if you're wondering, well, why is negative 3 a whole number? Remember, or why is negative 3 a rational number? Remember, a rational number is anything that can be written as a fraction over 1, and negative 3 can be written as a fraction over 1. And then the last one, I'm going to erase this negative 75, or the 75 I had earlier. The last two, 3/4. Is 3/4 a whole number? No. Is 3/4 an integer? No. 3/4 is a rational number only. And what about 0 and 35/100ths? 0 and 35/100ths also is a rational number. It's not an integer, and it's not a whole number. So basically the way to think about that is, in order to be in the smallest circle, it has to be a positive whole number. In order to be in the integer circle, it has to be a positive or a negative whole number. And in order to be a rational number, it can be a fraction or a decimal. All right, let's check out the reflect at the bottom of the page. Reflect number 7 says, name two integers that are also not whole numbers. So the key is they have to be integers. And most of the time that means they're going to be negative, and they can't be whole numbers. So anything that you name that's like a whole number but that it's negative will fit the bill. So for example, something like -7 and -99, both of those work. The key is whatever you choose for your answers here have to be whole numbers, but they have to be negative. That's what an integer is. Number 8, analyze relationships. Describe how the Venn diagram models the relationship between rational numbers, integers, and whole numbers. And really what we can do is we can look at the top of the page where it states that whole numbers are also belong in the set of integers and rational numbers. So I'd probably start with that. Whole numbers belong in the set of, we might want to say whole numbers also belong in the set of integers and rational numbers. Integers belong in the set of rational numbers. I know it's a little bit confusing. We'll practice it and get better at it, but that's a good enough answer for now. Okay, that is it for page 49. We're going to take what we learned on page 49 and we're going to practice it on page 50.